Hey everyone, and welcome back. Have you ever felt like you're searching for that thing, like that reason to leap out of bed in the morning?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, today we are diving into a concept that might just help you find that
I love it.
Ikigai. It's a
Yes.
Japanese philosophy all about finding your reason for being and how it connects to living not just a longer life, but a more fulfilling one as well.
Yeah, and it's more than just like a trendy buzzword. Ikigai is really a philosophy like woven into Japanese culture for centuries. It's a way of life.
It really is. It goes so deep. And to help us unpack it all, we're doing a deep dive into this awesome book, Ikigai, The Japanese Secret to a Long and Happy Life.
Great book.
So let's get into it. What exactly is Ikigai?
Okay, so imagine this. You've got what you absolutely love to do, what you're naturally great at, what the world actually needs, and then on top of all that, what you can actually get paid for.
Right. All four.
It's that magical sweet spot where all those things overlap. That's Ikigai.
It's like finding a four-leaf clover, but for your life's purpose.
Exactly.
And the book gave some really cool examples.
Oh, yeah.
One that stuck with me was this master sushi chef.
Okay.
He's not just like, whipping up California rolls. He's meticulously selecting each fish at the market every morning, turning grocery shopping into an art form.
It's so true, and that's a key takeaway right there. Ikigai doesn't have to be some grand, splashy thing. Like this sushi chef, he finds his purpose in the dedication to his craft, in the everyday ritual that brings him joy.
Yeah, it's about finding the extraordinary in the ordinary, which kind of when we were talking about this, what about flow? Have you ever gotten so lost in an activity that hours just vanish?
Oh, yeah.
That feeling of being in the zone.
All the time.
I feel like we've talked about that before.
For sure, yeah. And it's not just about enjoyment, it's about complete absorption, where your skills just perfectly meet the challenge at hand, and you're just fully immersed in the present moment. So it's no surprise that people often find flow when they're engaged in activities that are aligned with their ikigai.
Yeah, it stops feeling like work
Yeah,
and becomes something you get to do, not something you have to do.
exactly, yeah.
The book also mentioned a calligrapher who experiences this.
Okay.
For him, each brushstroke isn't just, ink on paper. It's an expression of his focus and dedication, almost like a meditation in motion.
Yeah, absolutely. And the beautiful thing is you don't have to be a sushi chef or a calligrapher to experience this. Think about the moments when you felt that same sense of effortless engagement, that feeling of being truly alive.
Yeah.
What were you doing?
What made those moments so special? The answers might just hold the clues to uncovering your own ikigai.
Yeah.
So let's say you've had those aha moments, right?
Oh,
And maybe you're starting to get a sense of your own ikigai.
right.
But how do you actually weave it into your everyday life?
Yeah, that's where the rubber meets the road, right?
Right.
And the book actually offers some surprisingly practical wisdom, I think, for this.
Okay.
One that really resonated with me was this whole concept of harahachibu.
Okay, I'll admit I had to look that one up. Sounds
Yeah.
kind of like a mystical martial art or something.
Right, right. Well, it's definitely a practice in mindfulness, I'll say.
You okay?
Harahachibu is a Japanese saying that basically translates to eat until you're 80% full.
Oh, okay. So not going for that second helping of mashed potatoes, no matter how tempting.
You got it. And it's not just about, fitting into your favorite jeans.
Right.
The book talks about how the Okinawans, who, have this amazing reputation for longevity, they practice harahachibu regularly.
Really?
And they really believe it plays a role in their long, healthy lives.
Interesting. But what's the connection to Ikigai? Is it just about living longer so you have more time to pursue your purpose?
Well, that's part of it, sure, but
Okay.
it goes a little deeper than that.
Okay.
Harahachibu is about cultivating the sense of mindfulness and moderation in all things. Really,
Well,
it's about listening to your body's cues and understanding that, true satisfaction isn't about being stuffed to the brim.
yeah, it's like appreciating that feeling of just right instead of constantly chasing more, more, more.
Precisely. And this whole mindset of balance and mindful living, it extends beyond just our eating habits.
Yep.
It connects to another key theme in the book, I think, which is keeping our minds engaged and active as we age.
Oh, interesting, because a sharp mind is just as important as a healthy body, especially if we want to live our ikigai to the fullest.
Right, absolutely. The book highlights how mental stimulation, learning new things, challenging your assumptions, even just engaging in deep conversations, can actually protect against cognitive decline.
So it's like hitting the gym for your brain, keeping those neural pathways firing on all cylinders.
I love that analogy. And the great thing is, there are endless ways to keep your mind engaged. Whether it's taking up a new hobby, learning a new language, or, like you said, just having like really stimulating conversations with people who challenge your perspectives. It's about staying curious and embracing lifelong learning as like an integral part of living your Ikigai.
So we've got mindful eating, mental workouts. It's starting to feel like Ikigai is a recipe for a holistic lifestyle makeover. But let's be real, life isn't always, smooth sailing.
Right.
How does Ikigai kind of equip us to deal with the inevitable curveballs that come our way?
That's where this other fascinating concept comes in, and it's called wabi-sabi.
Wabi-sabi. Okay, now you're just messing with me.
I promise it's not as complicated as it sounds. Wabi-sabi is a Japanese aesthetic that finds beauty in imperfection, impermanence, and the natural cycle of life and death.
Okay.
It's about appreciating the cracks and crevices, the things that make life interesting and unique.
So instead of striving for this, like, impossible standard of perfection,
Yeah.
we're kind of embracing the messy, imperfect reality of it all.
Exactly. And this ties directly into resilience because, when you accept that imperfection is just a natural part of life, you're less likely to be thrown off by setbacks or disappointments.
It's like that old saying, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans.
Yes. And Wabi Sabi encourages us to let go of that rigid control, to find beauty in the unexpected, and to embrace the journey with all its twists and turns.
I love that.
Yeah.
So we've got this foundation of mindfulness, lifelong learning, and embracing imperfection.
Right.
But where do we even begin to put all of this into practice? It feels like a lot to take in.
You're right, it can feel overwhelming.
Yeah.
But the book really emphasizes that living your Ikigai isn't about making like these drastic overnight changes.
Right.
It's about taking these small, sustainable steps that add up over time.
Okay, so what are some of those bite-sized actions we can take starting, like, today?
Well, for starters, let's talk about movement.
Okay, like hitting the gym 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure I'm ready for that level of commitment.
No, not necessarily. It's more about incorporating like more movement into your everyday life in ways that feel good for you.
Okay.
Like take the stairs instead of the elevator, go for a walk during your lunch break, or even just like stand up and stretch every hour if you have a desk job.
Yeah, simple, but effective. I like it.
And speaking of simple, another really powerful practice is mindfulness.
Okay.
And now this doesn't have to involve like hours of meditation in a silent room, although that's great if it works for you.
Yeah, I'm more of a meditate while waiting in line at the grocery store kind of person.
Right, and that's perfectly fine. The key is to just find moments throughout your day to simply tune into your breath, to notice the sensations in your body, and to quiet the mental chatter, even if it's just for a few minutes at a time.
Yeah, it's about hitting the pause button on autopilot and actually being present in the moment.
Exactly. And then finally, don't underestimate the power of connection.
Oh, you mean like spending time with loved ones, building those meaningful relationships?
Yes, the book really emphasizes how crucial strong social connections are for both longevity and happiness. It's about nurturing those bonds, making time for the people who matter most, and creating a supportive network that brings like real joy and meaning to your life.
It sounds like Ikigai isn't just about finding your purpose. It's about living it out in a way that nourishes your mind, body, and spirit.
Exactly. It's about creating a life that feels aligned, meaningful, and fulfilling on every level.
I love that.
And the best part,
Yeah.
you don't have to wait to start living your Ikigai. It's not something you find like someday in the distant future.
Right.
It's available to you right here, right now.
It's like we've uncovered this treasure map.
Totally.
A little more fulfilling life.
Yes.
And the best part is we get to choose our own adventure.
That's a great way to put it. Ikigai isn't about like following some rigid set of rules. It's about, taking the time to really discover what brings you joy, what makes you feel alive, and then figuring out how to weave those threads into like the tapestry of your life.
And it's a journey, not a destination, right? Like we're constantly evolving and our Ikigai might even evolve with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, what brings you joy and fulfillment today might look totally different 5, 10, 20 years from now.
Right.
And that's okay. It's supposed to be that way.
Yeah.
Ikigai is about staying curious, staying open to new possibilities, and allowing yourself to grow and change along the way.
So it's not about finding the perfect Ikigai and then just like clinging to it for dear life.
Right.
It's more about checking in with yourself regularly
Yeah.
and asking what feels meaningful and engaging right now.
Exactly. And being open to the possibility that the answer might surprise you. You know, one of the most powerful takeaways for me from this whole deep dive is that Ikigai isn't some grand, elusive thing that's reserved for like a select few.
Right.
It's available to all of us, regardless of our age, background, or circumstances.
It's like that saying, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
Oh, I love that.
Maybe finding and living your Ikigai is about, taking those small steps consistently, even when it feels challenging or uncertain.
Totally. And remembering to celebrate those small victories along the way. Like each step you take towards a more purpose-driven life is something to be celebrated.
Absolutely. So as we're kind of wrapping up this deep dive, I'm curious, what's like one nugget of wisdom from the book that you're going to carry with you? Something that really struck a chord with you?
You know, for me, it goes back to that question of embracing imperfection.
Yeah.
That concept of wabi-sabi like really resonated with me. I
Yeah.
think it's such a good reminder that life isn't about, striving for some like unattainable ideal of perfection.
Right.
It's about finding beauty and meaning in the messy, imperfect reality of it all.
Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah.
It's like giving ourselves permission to be human,
Yes.
flaws and all.
Exactly.
And speaking of like powerful takeaways, the book ends with this question that I think like perfectly encapsulates the essence of Ikigai.
Okay.
It asks, are you ready to throw yourself into your passion as if it were the most important thing in the world?
Wow. Yeah, that's a powerful question to kind of like sit with.
It really is. It challenges us to not just identify our Ikigai, but to really embrace it, to pursue it with like everything we've got.
So sure.
Because, when we're living in alignment with our purpose, when we're fully engaged in the things that light us up, that's when life becomes truly extraordinary.
Well said. I think that's the perfect note to end on.
Yeah, this has been an awesome deep dive into Ikigai. I hope you feel, inspired to go out there and really explore your own Ikigai.
Absolutely.
Remember, it's not about, finding all the answers right away. It's about embarking on the journey of discovery
Yeah, just
and seeing where it leads.
exactly.
See you next time.